Well, we'll be starting our today's class. This is the second class on working capital management. Previous class we had initiated the topic, some theoretical aspects we had covered. Uh, I am going for screen sharing. Wait a minute, screen will be shared with you, and please confirm when the screen is visible to you. Are you able to see the screen? Just confirming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So management of working capital first volume was over. Okay, various aspects like types of working capital we had covered in our previous class. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Some examples you had taken. We had understood what is the definition of current asset, which is defined where it current asset is defined.
Companies at Schedule 3.
Schedule 3 of compensation. So what is current asset? What is current liability? What is the meaning of operating cycle? All these things we had discussed in our previous class. And in that, uh, on that basis, we had understood that working capital is the difference of current asset and current liability. Excess of current asset
Yes,
over
sir.
current liability is called as the net working capital. Okay, we have understood some other kind of working capital like initial working capital, regular working capital, fluctuating working capital, reserve margin working capital, working capital, net working capital, permanent working capital, temporary working capital. Right, all these concepts we had understood in our previous class.
Yes.
Long-term working capital, short-term working capital, all these concepts we have understood. Okay, importance of working capital. Some other aspects of working capital are also covered. Okay, various components of working capital, characteristics of working capital, all these things we have covered. This particular pictures we have seen how working capital, one element of working capital is linked to other element. How all these elements are linked. We have discussed all these aspects. Importance of working capital was also covered, right? How working capital is related to a chain and the strength of the chain depends on its weakest link. That concept also we have discussed, right? And okay, and this concept we had also discussed about the risk and return trade-off of working capital. Is it not? Now tell me
Yes.
whether working capital gives more return, or I can say current asset gives us more return, or non-current asset. Which kind of asset gives us more return?
Current asset.
Which one?
Current asset.
You see, non-current asset gives us more return. Okay, current asset means let us say which is 100% current asset. One example is cash. Cash doesn't as such doesn't give you any return. If the cash is converted into something else, cash is converted into investment, it generates income. Right. So returns are more in non-current asset. Returns are less in current asset. But current assets are required to be maintained, or working capital is required to be maintained to run the business. Okay, without working capital, without current asset, you cannot run the business. So when you are keeping more working capital or more current asset, I am sacrificing the return because return is less. But without current asset also, I cannot run the business. If less current asset, I am taking a risk. So more current asset, I am sacrificing return. Less current asset, I am taking a risk. So what happens when you decide an optimal working capital? I try to draw a trade-off between the risk and return. Okay, or the manager always tries to minimize the risk and also maximize the return. Both the aspects has to be taken care of. In that context, in the previous class we had seen, okay, suppose in this the horizontal axis I am showing current asset or working capital. So if I keep more current assets, suppose current asset I keep at these stage. So what will happen? I will be getting less return. The less return is a cost. That cost I am calling it as the cost of liquidity. So if I keep on more and more current asset, my cost of liquidity will increase. Understood?
It will increase. Yes, sir.
Okay. And similarly, if I keep less current asset, let's say current asset is here, then one more cost is increasing, that is cost of liquidity, cost of illiquidity, or the risk of bankruptcy. So I am at a risk that some, let us say, financial requirements may not be met. So therefore, less current asset involve cost of illiquidity, and more current asset involves cost of liquidity. And how to arrive at the optimal level of working capital? That means which level of working capital I should keep. I should keep in the mind both cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity. Both taken together, I'll find out what is the total cost involved. Right? In the total cost, where the total cost minimum, and that should be my optimal working capital or optimal current asset. Are you getting it up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
सर ये मिनिमम कॉस्ट जब पॉइंट दिखता है एक्स एक्सिस में तो ये हर टाइम ये दो लाइन के इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट में जाता है
इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट में
फ्रस्ट्रेशन
नहीं होता. यू सी दिस इज वन पॉइंट, दिस इज वन कॉस्ट, दिस इज वन कॉस्ट. ये दोनों कॉस्ट को if I add, this is one kind of cost, this is one kind of cost. If I add this cost and this cost, the total cost will be higher. This is a total cost. Okay, total cost is a different line. So ideally the total cost is minimum at this point. Okay, incidentally that falls at intersection of both the point. And ideally also most of the cases it may fall here also. That means cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity taken together, this is the cost. Okay, suppose I mean let us say cost at this point, let us say my working capital position is here. Okay, let us say cost of, this is cost of liquidity. Cost of liquidity comes to 20, and cost of illiquidity, let us say, comes is 60. So my total cost is 60 plus 20, it will be 80, maybe somewhere here. Okay, or at this point, if I see, let's say at this point, okay, right? So this point, if you see cost of liquidity, if you are taking cost of liquidity at here red color line, assume this is 30. Cost of illiquidity maybe, or let us say cost of liquidity, let us say assume it here it is take, let us say 10. And cost of illiquidity, if you are at this point, it might be around 15. So 10 plus 15, 25 will be total cost. This line is the total cost, represents the cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity taken together. Have you understood the graph now?
yes
Okay. Achha. So now coming to one more theoretical aspect, that importance of adequate working capital. You know, it is important for to maintain adequate working capital, but adequate working capital involves a cost in the sense we are sacrificing the return. Okay, working capital, large amount of working capital means large amount of the fund is kept idle, and that situation is referred to as overcapitalization. If it is overcapitalization, what will happen? Returns will be less. If the farm is having more capital, farm's return will come down, will fall down. Right. Since funds have a cost, we have studied it in the cost of capital. Funds involve a kind of cost, and if the funds are kept idle, so that cost needs to be incurred and return. That will reduce the overall return of the fund. And inadequate working capital means there is a risk of insolvency. There is a possibility that required expenditures the farm may not be able to make. Okay, so that is why when I say why adequate working capital is important. Working capital has to be kept adequately so that the return aspects can be taken care of, and risk aspect, that the risk of insolvency can also be taken care of. So in the farm there should be sufficient liquidity so that insolvency risk should not be there. At the same time, it has to be seen that overcapitalization also should not be there. Okay, there should not be overcapitalization and there should not be risk also. And the concept of working capital management involves two broad aspects. One is maintaining adequacy of working capital. Okay, and financing the working capital, right? One is maintaining, second is finance. And normally there are some kind of thumb rules are applicable. And some cases managers feel that certain aspects needs to be kept in mind in the context of working capital. Always current assets should be better than current liability. That is safe position, risk is less. Current assets means receivable, all these things, cash, all these things should be
Yes,
more
sir.
than the current liability. Liquidity ratio or current ratio, ideally, of course, it varies from industry to industry, company to company. Ideally, it is believed 2 is a better sign. Liquidity ratio. That means current asset by current liability should be. And there is one more ratio is also tested that is called as quick ratio or acid test ratio. If that is one, that is also ideal sign. Okay. So liquidity ratio or current ratio is current. The formula for that thing is the current assets by current liabilities. You might be wondering how to compute this quick ratio or acid test ratio. Okay. What happens while computing quick ratio or acid test ratio?
Sir,
Inventory
acid test
and
ratio.
prepaid
Inventory,
expenses.
prepaid expenses.
Yeah, please mute your speakers.
Yeah, please mute your speakers. Sir, acid test ratio means?
Okay. Okay, mute your speakers. I'm explaining. What is this acid test ratio? This is one more kind of ratio. You might be knowing what is current ratio. Current ratio formula is, you see, it is explained here. Current asset by current liabilities. Right? Current asset components, divided by current liabilities.
Yes.
That ratio is called as current ratio. Okay. Or also known as liquidity ratio. Sometimes it is also referred to as cash ratio. Cash asset ratio is also called. Ideally, if it is 2, that's a good sign. Now, next, another test is called as the acid test ratio or quick ratio. What happens in quick ratio? Almost similar kind of formula. Here it is current asset by current liabilities. From this current assets, inventory and prepaid
Prepaid ex-
items are excluded. Prepaid expenses, suppose some expenditure has been prepaid, that is excluded from the current asset. Of course, technically that is current asset, but thing is that cannot be liquidated quickly. Very quickly, if you want, if some expenditure is prepaid, you cannot get it back. Similarly, you cannot dispose of your inventory quickly. So therefore, inventory and prepaid expenditures are reduced from the current asset. So quick ratio formula is that current assets minus inventory minus prepaid expenditures all divided by current liabilities. Understood the formula?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So current liabilities is equals to current quick liabilities.
Current liability is the current liability. That definition we have understood earlier. Now, what is your
तो
question?
सर मैं बोल रही हूँ कि करंट लायबिलिटी से कुछ एक्सक्लूड नहीं होता है क्यों क्विक लायबिलिटीज पाने के लिए
Okay. Quick liability panacule, your point is that whether some items are reduced from the current liabilities or not.
करंट लायबिलिटी
Generally not. Generally not. But still, in some organization, if you feel, let me practically tell you this, if you feel that the nature of some liability is not actually current liability, then they are excluded. For example, I am taking one example. One uh, item of current liability is cash credit loan. Okay, cash credit loan is always cash credit is a kind of temporary facility, very much normally within the operating cycle. The duration of that loan is normally within 1 year. So that is a current liability. So when you calculate current ratio, we consider as a current liability. But you practically, if you see some of you, if you are involved in some kind of business, this cash credit facility every year gets renewed. So even if it looks like a current asset, a current liability, practically it's a kind of long-term liability because every year that facilities gets renewed. So therefore, when computing current ratio, will be computing current asset by current liability. But when coming to quick ratio, cash credit facilities will be excluding from the current liabilities. So like this, practically you have to see if the nature of the some liability is not actually uh, current, then that thing should be excluded. Otherwise, nothing is required to be excluded from current liabilities. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Now, coming to optimal working capital, it to be determined with reference to particular circumstances and specific situation. Right? We have understood how it is to be determined, keeping in view the risk and return, keeping in view the cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity. But it varies from circumstances to circumstances and from situation to situation. Every firm is expected to maintain adequate working capital. Excessive as well as inadequate working capitals are dangerous. More working capital is dangerous, less working capital is also dangerous. More working capital is dangerous in the sense it affects the return. Now, having understood this, we will be entering into one more area, that is determinants of working capital. There is a list of items, long list of items. These are considered as determinants of working capital. First determinant is cash. Cash also determines working capital. So depending upon the type of business, one is required to identify what is the cash balance, what is the cash holding cost of that company. Accordingly, working capital is decided. Okay, so the cash position affect, or the requirement of cash affects the requirement of working capital. Okay, understood? What is the second item?
Yes, sir. Inventory.
So level of inventory also affects working capital. Suppose some organizations is capable of managing its inventory properly. Doesn't this organization manages its operation without keeping large size of inventory? Then working capital requirements will be less. Okay, if organization follows this EOQ, economic ordering quantity, and appropriate quantity is ordered, there is no excess stock, then working capital requirement will be less. Or organization is capable of following this JIT, that is just in time, where material will be arrived just exactly in the time. There will not be any storage cost. There will not be any carrying costs. In this kind of situation, the working capital requirement will be less. So the level of inventory or inventory management policy also affects working capital requirement. Third item,
Debtors.
debtors. So credit policy, that how you're allowing credit sales, what is the credit period, all these things affects your working capital requirement. If your credit policy is liberal, you allow credit sales, so consequently you have to keep more working capital because money will be realized at a subsequent time. Short-term financing option, if some financing options are readily available with you, that is say bank finance, immediately if you want, you can get the bank finance, or factoring, you can sell your debtors, you can discount your debtors. If these facilities are available, then one can manage with less working capital. But if these short-term finance schemes are not available, then one has to give more working capital so that this can be minimized. Okay. Now, what is point number
Yes, sir.
5?
Nature of
Nature
business.
of business also affects working capital requirement. Okay, small businesses like restaurant, etc., can be managed with less working capital. But let us say large businesses, you want to have a steel plant, then working capital requirements will be more. Market and demand conditions also affects working capital requirement. If demand exceeds production, there's a lot of demand, then working capital requirement will be less. Okay, then immediately products will be sold, cash can be realized, and there is no need to maintain stock also. So therefore, working capital requirements will be less. If demand is less, then you have to keep more working capital. Sufficient stocks has to be met. Then technology and manufacturing policies also affect working capital requirement. Some goods are no technology is such that, or the manufacturing policy of the organization is such that in a particular season this production will be there. In that case, more working capital is required because in that particular season only you have to spend a lot of money on current assets. Okay. Then operating efficiency. If wastages are minimum, working capital requirements will be less. Price level changes. Rising price level in an inflationary situation, when prices of products keeps on increasing, there is a necessary to keep more working capital. Okay. Some more other points are also there. Other these all these points are clear, then we will move to the next slide. Few other points are also there.
Sir, here rising price means the price of raw materials.
Yeah, in the context of working capital, rising prices means the cost of raw material. Okay, if raw material prices increases, keeps on increasing, then you need to keep more working capital. Okay, should I move? Yeah. Now, some other points. Seasonality, like some industries you see there are seasonal fluctuations, there are seasonal movements, demand increases or falls depending upon a particular season. For example, sugar industry, construction industry, etc. So accordingly, working capital requirement varies. That also determines the working capital. Production policy. If production is scheduled in a particular manner, in a particular period, production is to be conducted. That will also adjust the working capital requirement. Then growth. Growing companies need more and more working capital, right? Their activities increases day by day. So consequently, they need more working capital. Position in the business cycle. So, business, there is a concept of business cycle. What happens? The business sometimes grows, reaches a maturity level, then comes down, falls. We call it as a recession. It declines, then again picks off. We call it as a recovery. Then we are comes to another growth stage, right? So growth stage, recession stage, slump or uh, lower part stage, then recovery stage. Okay, again it goes to the growth stage. So growth, declining, recession, all these things, recovery, all these things are a part of the business cycle. So depending upon the position in the business cycle, suppose one particular business is in the growth stage or somewhere here, then it needs more working capital. It is at the recession or declining stage, then working capital requirements will be less because production will be less. Okay, so like this again it picks off recovery, then you need more working capital to produce more goods and services. So depending upon the position in the working capital cycle, position in the business cycle, working capital requirements get affected. Competitive conditions. If there is heavy competition, cutthroat competition kind of thing. So in that case, the business houses needs to satisfy their consumers. So they were in that situation, more working capital needs to be maintained so that customers can be satisfied, more stocks can be kept. Production, collection, time period. So size of the operating cycle. So previous class we are understanding what is an operating cycle or cash to cash cycle. But that means how cash is converted into raw material, then work in progress, then finished goods, then debtors, then again cash is realized. Okay. So this depending upon the size of this operating cycle, whether it's a small cycle of let us say 7 to 8 hours or a big cycle of 1 year. So working capital requirement gets affected by the length of that cycle. Dividend policy. We have already studied that chapter, dividend policy, right? Those slides, those videos are also available. You can go through if you want. So there we have seen there are various kinds of dividend policies. Some policies suggest to pay dividend in certain circumstances. Some policies suggest not to pay dividend in certain circumstances. But if policy says one has to pay dividend, sufficient cash needs to be maintained. And cash is a kind of current asset that affects one. Size of business, output size, overhead cost, all these things affect working capital business. Big businesses needs more working capital. Overhead costs or indirect costs, size of this indirect cost also affect working capital requirement. Sales policy. If the turnover is high, more sales, then less working capital is required because it ensures that funds are generated internally, funds are generated and it uh, can be managed, working capital can be managed with less working capital, business can be managed. Risk, uncertainty of the receipt and expenditures affects working capital. If recoveries are doubtful, receipts are doubtful, then one is supposed to get more one. Okay, these are again few more points. Any query you have in any of these points regarding determinants of working capital? Do you have any query or we'll move?
No, no, sir.
Okay, let's move. This was again theoretical aspect. Now, coming to this part, significance of working capital. So, what I was telling you, typical situation, current assets exceeds one half of the total asset in some organizations. We feel this concept, but it varies from organization to organization. Right? That means what is the proportion of a current asset to total asset? It varies. It depends upon business houses to business houses. So that has to be kept in the mind, keeping in view the working capital for the purpose of deciding working capital requirement. Excessive level of current asset results in substandard return. Return will be less because current asset as such doesn't then generate any return. Non-current assets generate return. So if I maintain excessive level of current asset or excessive level of working capital, I'll be having the business will get a kind of substandard return. Return on investment will be reduced. Current liabilities are the principal source of external financing. These current assets can be financed through current liabilities. Current assets means debtor, isn't it? Let us take an example. One is debtor. Debtor means funds are blocked, money is not coming, but that can be financed with current liabilities like creditor. So I can make purchases in credit so that I can make sales in credit also. Okay, so therefore current liabilities can finance current assets. Okay, but we need to manage all these activities with close supervision. That means how much of current asset, how much of debtor one can bear, and what should be the current liability position. Working capital management affects companies' risk, return, and ultimately it affects the value of the firm or share prices. Therefore, they are significant. Now, earlier we have also discussed there are two aspects of working capital are important. One is investments of working capital, how much working capital needs to be maintained. Other part is the financing of working capital. How we'll be getting that working capital? Okay, one is investment of working capital, second is financing of working capital. Now, investment of working capital is a part of policy decision. It depends that how much you will invest. It depends broadly. These are we are listing out this year. There are five items, and on which broadly investment of working capital depends. First of all, nature of the industry. Some industries require like construction companies, etc. They need more working capital. Types of the product. If the product is consumer durable, then more working capital are required. But perishable products, less working capital are required. Manufacturing versus trading services. Manufacturing entity has to maintain more inventory. Normally, three levels of inventory are maintained. One is raw material, work in progress, finished goods, etc. Right? And with less service industry can be managed with less working capital. Volume of sales, we have discussed it earlier also. Where sales is high, there is a possibility of high receivables as well. So more current assets are there. Credit policy also affects the working capital. If the credit policy is liberal, okay, then high level of receivables needs to be maintained. Consequently, more working. There is a need for more working, right? So when coming to the investment in working capital, these aspects has to be taken care of. Now, there are three approaches to working capital management, and some authors, some textbooks calls it as the three kinds of working capital policies. Okay, these approaches leads to working capital policies. So as you can see, there are three kinds of approaches. Can you read them out? What are these three approaches?
Aggressive, and the second one is conservative, and third one is moderate.
Moderate. Aggressive working capital policy, as you can read it here. Minimal investment in current asset. That means you are trying to manage the business with minimum level of current asset, with minimum level of working capital. And conservative, invest high capital in current assets. That means more money is invested in current asset or working capital. Moderate approach is in between the above two approaches. In this approach, a balance between risk and return is attempted to be maintained. So ideally, one should follow a moderate approach, moderate policy, so that risk is minimum as well as return is also not affected.
Returning. No.
Also not affected. One more concept relating to working capital we need to understand. This is the ratio of current assets to fixed assets. Okay, fixed assets and non-current assets. So every firm invests some money in fixed assets and some money also needs to be invested in current assets. This ratio of fixed assets
Current.
to current asset varies from farm to farm. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Normally, when the output increases or sales increases, the requirement of current assets also increases. If sales is more, you need to keep more current assets. But it doesn't increase with direct proportion. Meaning, suppose sales is increased by 10%, it is not necessary that you should keep uh, the requirement of current asset should also increase by 10%. Not necessary. It may increase up to 10%. And it may be increased, let us say 8%. Sales increase 10%, but current asset requirement may increase 8%. So it doesn't increase in direct proportion. Normally, it increases in the decreasing rate. It increases, no doubt it increases. With increase of output or increase of sales, the requirement of current asset increases, but the rate of increase follows the decreasing pattern. Okay, understood this concept?
Sir, can you give an example?
Example is, let us say, sales increased 10%, the requirement of current asset may increase by 8%. Okay, sales increase, let's say 20%, the requirement of current asset may be increased to 15%. Okay, that means the rate of increase will decrease. First it increase, let us say 8%, then it will be less than that. It will show a kind of downward trend.
Yes, sir.
Okay, have you understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. How it happens? Because when output increases, farm is capable of utilizing its current assets more efficiently. Okay. Suppose sales double out. Sales is double. Sales was, let us say, last year it was 1 crore, it is 2 crore. Does it mean that debtors will be double? Answer is no. Debtor may be increased by 1.8. 1.8 times. Understood? That is not in direct proportion. Sales jumps from 1 crore to 2 crore. Let us say debtors jumps from 50 lakh to 80 lakh. Okay, are you understanding? And this relationship of current asset and fixed assets can be measured by computing this ratio, that is current asset to fixed asset ratio. What exactly happens? By dividing the current asset by fixed assets, we give this current asset fixed asset ratio, and different firms current asset fixed asset ratio can be compared with to evaluate the performance. Okay, assuming a current level of fixed asset, higher current asset fixed asset ratio indicates a conservative current asset policy. If higher current asset fixed asset ratio means more proportion of current asset. More proportion of current asset indicates a kind of conservative approach. That is, management is conservative, management gives more current asset. Okay, by doing so, management is taking less risk. More current asset means less risk. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But if this ratio is low, that means management is aggressive. So whether the management is aggressive or management is conservative in its approach of working capital management, we can find it out by computing this ratio, that is current asset to fixed assets ratio. Okay. To understand that concept, what is the impact of current asset and fixed asset, we'll be doing an example. Okay. Can some of you read this example?
A farm has the following data for the year ending 31st March 2020. says 1 lakh at the rate 20 rupees, is total sale is 20 lakh and earning before interest and tax is 2 lakh, fixed asset is 5 lakh. The three possibility current asset holding of the farm are 5 lakh and 4 lakh and another one 3 lakh. It is assumed that fixed asset level is constant and the profit do not vary with current asset levels. So the effect of three alternative current asset policies.
So as you can see, there are three alternative policy as regards to current asset management or working capital management. One case it is suggesting that current assets should be maintained at the level of 5 lakh. Other cases it is suggesting it can be maintained at the level of 4
4
lakh.
lakh,
Third case it is how
3
much?
lakh,
3 lakh. Now,
3
which
lakh.
one is conservative, which one is aggressive, which one is moderate? Can you say? 5 lakh is what?
Uh, it is conservative.
Conservative. So more working capital means you are conservative. You are taking less risk. Okay. What is 3 lakh?
Yes, sir.
3 lakh
It is aggressive.
aggressive. And 4 lakh is
Aggressive,
moderate.
sir.
4 lakh is moderate.
Moderate.
The farm situation is like sales is this much 20 lakh. Earning that is you can see this is the profit. Profit is 10% of that almost so 2 lakh rupees. And this is a fixed assets. So we have to compute what is the fixed asset to current asset ratio and accordingly how this ratio affects the farm's earning. Okay, so broadly we have understood earlier also we have understood one concept that more current asset means what will happen? It will give you less return because current assets gives less return. Fixed assets give more return. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
So then these three situations we are going to test it. Now I am showing you the solution. Have a look at this. Okay, so three situations I have taken conservative policy, mortgage, this thing, moderate policy and aggressive policy.
Moderate.
In both the situations, sales is how much? 20, 20, 20 lakh.
20 lakh.
All these situations.
Yes, sir.
Earnings are also unchanged. 2 lakh, 2 lakh, 2 lakh as you can
Okay.
also see. Is it not? Earnings are unchanged.
Yes, sir.
Current assets, there are three options under conservative, moderate and aggressive. What are the current assets? Please read it out.
5 lakh, 4 lakh and 3 lakh.
Okay. And fixed assets, the question says fixed assets are how much?
5 lakh, 5 lakh, 5 lakh.
5 lakh, 5 lakh, 5 lakh. Okay. And what is the total investment or total asset?
10 lakh.
Then
10 lakh in case of conservative and in case of moderate it is 9 lakh and 8 lakh in case of aggressive.
yes. Now you see, this is the money I have invested 10 and I earn 2 lakh. 10 lakh invested, 2 lakh is earning. So my return on total investment or return on total asset is equal to 20%. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
2 lakh by 10 lakh into 100. And in the moderate approach, my return on total investment is 22.22%.
22.25.
Under aggressive approach, what is the return percentage? 25%.
25%.
Okay. And
Yes,
what is my current asset to fixed asset ratio? In first case, it is 1. Second case, it is 0.8. Third case, it is 0.6.
sir.
So this gives us a
Yes,
message.
sir.
This gives us a message. If current asset to fixed asset ratio is less, earning will be more.
Yes, sir.
Okay, return on investment will be more. If it is less, return will be more. Why it is so? Because
Okay.
comparatively, current assets gives less return and fixed assets gives more return. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
in case of conservative policy, we have seen conservative policy provides greater liquidity. You are having more capital, more working capital. Okay. And low risk.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But low return. Aggressive policy gives higher return, but it is also very risky because you are keeping current assets of only 3 lakh. There is a possibility of being insolvent because of this thing. You may not be able to meet
Yes, sir.
some of the requirements of working. Okay, understood this example?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the same concepts can be explained with the help of this picture, with the help of this chart. Aggressive policy, as you can see, low level of current asset. This is the current asset level. Conservative policy, you can see high level of current asset or working capital. And average policy is in between the two. Okay. Okay. As the output increases, these levels will also increasing. Okay, with output. But these are the three policies I am showing you in one chart. So now we'll compare liquidity versus profitability. Liquidity means more working capital means more liquid, is it not?
Yes, sir.
More current asset.
Yes, sir.
And profitability means profitability only when there will be less working capital, profitability will be more. More investment in fixed assets will bring more profit. Okay. And if I invest more money working capital, then naturally my investment in the fixed assets will be less. So to put it in one picture, so conservative, aggressive, conservative, average or moderate or aggressive, three kinds of policies are there. Under conservative, you have seen risk is low, but return is also low. Under average, you are visualizing moderate risk and moderate return. Aggressive policy, you see high risk but high return. Okay, this is the relationship
Yes, sir.
between these three kinds of working capital policies. Now, uh, we'll be seeing some other issues, as you know that, let us say at different output levels. We'll have a look at how this kind of policies are working at different output levels. So I think this picture you can understand. So at the output level of 25,000 units, this is the requirement under this policy. If I increase the output to 50,000, so consequently my requirement will change. Okay, under all the policies. Okay, all right. So under this is policy C is what kind of policy?
Policy, sir.
Policy C is
Aggressive.
aggressive, and policy A is conservative. You're right. Okay, this kind of policy.
Conservative.
We'll see this thing. And you see, coming to liquidity aspect, under policy A, liquidity is high because more current assets are maintained at this. And policy B, liquidity is average, and policy C, liquidity is low because low level of current assets are maintained. Right? Current assets means let us say cash. Here more cash is there, so more liquidity. Less cash is there, less liquidity. Okay, this is the comparison of the liquidity aspects in all these three kinds of policies. Now coming to profitability aspects, profitability will be exactly opposite of this. Under policy A, profitability will be more or less.
Profitability will be less.
Profitability will be less. Okay, because in the conservative policy. And policy C, profitability will be more. Okay, how to calculate profitability? These are various formulas. Net profit by total asset or net profit by return on investment can also be computed. Net profit by current asset by plus fixed asset. This is the formula we used in our previous example. Okay, and current assets include cash, receivables, inventory, all these things. So we know by applying this formula, we can compute profitability, and you can find that profitability increases. Profitability is more with aggressive policy and less with conservative policy.
Okay.
Okay, the same thing is explained in A case. In the policy A, profitability low. Policy B, profitability is average. Policy C, profitability is high. Okay, and coming to risk aspect.
Yes, sir.
In which policy, A, B, C, you give me an answer. In which policy risk is more?
Risk is more in case of
Which
aggressive.
policy? Where risk is more?
Aggressive.
Aggressive means policy A,
Aggressive management.
policy A or B or C?
Policy C.
Policy C.
C.
Because you are keeping less current assets, less cash, less inventories, is it not? So it will lead to, there is a possibility of being insolvent. That is the risk, impact on the risk. Right. So risk increases as the level of current assets are reduced. If you are reducing the current asset, reducing the working capital, risk increases. This concept you have to keep in mind. So if you summarize all these three policies, if you keep this, you compare to liquidity, profitability, and risk. Under conservative policy, liquidity is high, profitability is,
Low.
risk is
Also low.
also low. Under moderate, liquidity,
Average
profitability,
is also average.
risk,
Risk is average.
and under
Average.
aggressive policy,
Liquidity is low.
profitability
Profitability high and risk is high.
also high. So profitability varies inversely with liquidity. Okay, when the liquidity is high, profitability is low. When liquidity is low, profitability is high. So profitability varies inversely with liquidity. And profitability moves together with risk. When profitability is low, risk is low. Profitability is average, risk is average. Profitability is high, risk is also high. This is the relationship between liquidity, profitability, and risk with reference to three kinds of working capital policies. Okay.
Yes,
Now coming to this aspect, current asset and fixed assets financing. So working capital financing part, if you look into that, one part is investment part, other part is financing part. So the more of the funds are invested in working capital, lesser is the return, because working capital as such doesn't give any return. So normally firms try to minimize the investment in working capital. Okay. So normally working capital financing are done through some kind of short-term financing like cash credit requirement, cash credit facilities, overdraft facilities, etc. And whereas fixed assets financing are done by long-term financing like term loan, equity financing, etc. So ideally, working capital requirements should be made through short-term financing sources, and fixed asset financing should be made through long-term financing sources like term loan and equity asset. That is the normal practice one follows. How these things are to be managed, how this working capital, the entire thing has to be managed. You see, working capital or current assets represents all these things, three things. First of all, cash is utmost important. Okay, and accounts payable means
yes, sir. Current liability.
current liabilities. Inventory, farm has to maintain inventory, and account receivable means debtors.
Current asset.
Okay, so we collect money from debtors, or the business houses collect money from debtors, and there might be some existing cash or some cash equivalents like marketing securities which can be immediately converted into cash. So with this source, with the receivables and with cash balance, you have to manage accounts payable. Okay, so this we have to have sufficient debtors here, sufficient cash here, so that this part can be managed. Is it not? But how we can increase sufficient debtors or sufficient receivables? So if receivables will be sufficient only when we buy material from the our creditors and convert them into inventory. Right? Only when we buy raw material from them, convert them in inventory, then we'll be selling it. Then only this will be generated. So indirectly, to increase this thing, I have to increase this thing also. Is it not?
Yes.
So as a working capital manager, I have to look into all these aspects, how I can draw a balance between this and this, accounts receivable and accounts payable. Accounts receivables are indirectly affected by accounts payable. And in between, I have to keep some cash cushion. Directly, money will come. I should also have some cash so that I can meet my liabilities. And also, I have to keep some inventory cushion.
Yes, sir.
Only when inventory or is there, then only I can generate accounts. Is it not? So I will always try, as a manager of working capital, I will always try to balance between this account receivable and account payable. Also have a cushion of cash I should have a cash balance and a inventory balance. Inventory may be in the form of raw material, WIP, or finished goods. Understood this concept? How current assets are financed?
Yes, sir.
Now, working capital cycle we have seen earlier. This cycle involves 4 stages. Okay, cash is the ultimate stage. Cash is the highest liquid form of current asset. Stage one is that cash is converted into raw material. This is the period of turnover of raw material stock. Cash is to be converted into raw material stock. Then raw material stock is to be converted into stock in process or work in progress stage. That is sometime is required. That is stage two. And in stage three is the in fact the production process. This semi-finished goods etc. converted into finished goods. Okay, period of turnover of finished goods stock. Then from stage three we move to stage four. This is the sundry debtor stage. Okay, period of credit taken by the consumers. And finally debtors gives cash. That is the again it is converted back to cash. Okay. So you see all these items are in fact current asset. Cash is a current asset, raw material is a current asset, stock in progress is a current asset, finished goods is a current asset, debtors is a current asset. Why it is called as current asset? Probably because it flows like current. Always it keeps on changing. Cash changed into raw material, which changed into stock in progress, which
Finish
it
up in
changed into
progress.
finished goods, which again changed into debtors, which is again changed to cash. It flows like a current. Okay,
Yes, sir.
4 stages are involved in the working capital cycle. Now, we need to understand how to estimate working capital. 3 methods are there. Textbook suggests 3 methods for estimation of working capital. One is called operating cycle method or current asset holding period method. Here, what we do, we compute the various days of operating cycle. Right? You see, various stages are there. How many days are involved? On the basis of those days, we compute working capital. Second method is the ratio of sales method. So, various components of working capital are there, like debtors,
Yes.
inventory, etc. What is their ratio of these items with reference to sale? We compute. And here assumption is that current assets change with change in sales. On the basis of this ratio, we compute various items of working capital. Third is ratio of investment method. Almost similar kind of method. Here, as a percentage of, we compute various items of working capital as a percentage of fixed investment. And once these components are computed, we compute working capital on that basis. So these are the 3 methods on the basis
Yes.
of by using which you will be able to estimate the working capital. Okay. Now, first method, if you see, operating cycle method. We'll be covering it in our next class. We'll be closing our short here today. Here, exactly what we do, we calculate various days involved. From cash to raw material, how much days are required. For raw material to WIP, how much days are required. From WIP to stock, how many days are required. From debtors to stock, how many days are required. From debtors to cash, how many days are required. We calculate that thing. We accordingly calculate operating cycle. Okay, operating cycle can be computed by using this formula R plus W plus F plus D minus C. I'll be explaining this formula in our next class. Okay, you can say raw material holding period, work in progress holding period, finished goods holding period, then creditors period and debtors period. By using all these things, we'll be able to compute our working capital cycle. Okay,
Operating.
okay. So,
Yes.
any query you have so far? Do you have any query?
No, sir.
So, we'll plan to stop here then. Wait a minute. So, next class probably tomorrow. will be again catching off. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll continue with that working capital computation of operating cycle. Okay, maybe we need another few more classes. 2-3 classes will be required to complete this. After that only we'll move to the next chapter. Okay, so maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll be having one more class about capital. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.